everyone? K Kim here with the Traders Club. Welcome to the market update. Today is December 1st, 2017, Friday. As I record this video, market should be open another 3 hours or so, so you should be seeing some flashing lights on your left. Hope you guys had a good week trading thus far. Today, what we're going to do is we're going to look at actually, let's look Qs as well. Some of these ones, and then Spider, Qs, IWM, XLF, and I want to look at some things, stocks, Apple, Tesla, Netflix, Facebook, Amazon, Google, and we'll call it a day. Again, I hope you guys had a good week trading. We have entered our first day of December trading. I always love November and December. It's my favorite months. I hope you guys, wherever you're at, keeping yourself warm. Spider, you know, if you've been following me, my videos and following my market update videos, this was our target. This was, I think, our third target. First target was 250 was our first target, and then it was like 255-ish, and then like 250, 260, and then 265, and then I started getting rid of those, and this was 265. So we got precisely that there, and then we started pulling back a little bit. We see dip buyers coming in already, bring it back up here. But we've been talking about, if you recall, we've been talking about how the market is extended, especially on the weekly chart. We are dealing with extended levels, extended sentiment. But something that I talked about is also that how I want to continue to give benefit of the doubt to the buyers. And also we've been talking about how this is definitely not a level I'm going to start putting new fresh positions, but this is definitely a level that I'm going to start closing a lot of my positions that I've been holding, but still let some other ones to, like if because I'm still holding sizable call positions on IWM and others. But yesterday I closed out all my spider calls yesterday once I hit my 265 calls. I've been accumulating them, some of these levels, and then I started to close some, and I closed out everything yesterday finally on Spider, but I'm still holding. I didn't close out anything on IWM yesterday. I'm still holding everything on IWM. So kind of a, because I feel like IWM has more room to move where Spider is still kind of extended levels. That doesn't mean Spider cannot go higher. I want to continue to give benefit of doubt, but I'm starting to kind of manage my risk, close out some of the positions that have yielded good return, but still holding others that have still more room to move. So this is kind of the market. It hasn't been that kind of market pretty much all year long. It's not like, oh my God, Spider's hopping out, so let's close everything, let's stay cash. And obviously, if you're much shorter term, I think a lot of people do that. But me as a position traders, I'm holding a lot of stocks, both calls and shares. So I'm not going to start completely closing them out. But I am starting to think that possibly Spider will see a 5% corrections. Something that, if you recall, that I've been talking about how, since early this year that we may not see 5% correction this year. And pretty much we didn't see any I think worst case scenario, we had like 3.5% or something like that. But we haven't seen 5% corrections pretty much all year long. And I'm wondering, we may see 5% correction is coming, but I'm not sure when. What I'm not sure is I don't know if 5% correction is coming in December or January. But I do think that it's coming either this month or January, worst case scenario, possibly like in early February. So that's kind of forecasted. But again, does that mean that I'm going to start getting everything? No, I want to continue to give benefit of the doubt to the buyers because we're in an uptrend. Hope that makes sense. I know it's a little bit more complicated. There's a lot of things to think about. It's never easy. People always talk about like, oh man, I want to make things simple as possible. It's not going to be always simple. You know that. I know people always say that, like, oh, I'm more like a keep it simple, stupid type of person. Yeah, but once you get into a market, start trading, is it ever that simple? No, never. I think people are like in denial. Like they can't figure this out. They know it's very, very complex and it's very, very difficult. So they're just like, well, I want to keep it simple. But it's not. The market isn't simple. You see what I'm saying? It's not black and white all the time. Yes, we're extended, but we're still in an uptrend. We still have to get benefit of the doubt, but we still have to manage the risk. Well, this is not a place that I'm going to start putting new positions, but doesn't mean I'm going to start going short. You see what I mean? So I just, I know there's a lot to think about, but that's what the market is. And as technicians, you know, we look at the market in a technical aspect. Again, I still want to give benefit of the doubt to the buyers, but I'm going to start to be cautious, but that doesn't mean I'm going to start shorting either. So, let's go to it here. Spider, obviously we hit my target. We're seeing some fizzle. I have to say though, this still possibly looks like some kind of a bull flag, and we could possibly consolidate for a couple of days before going higher. That's a possibility. But we have to understand, if this thing does pull back, we start to pull back, 20 MA is a strong level of support. We find support there. We got this rising uptrend channel support that is coincident with this gap there. Worst case scenario, which when the 5% correction actually, let's just say 5% is going to happen from here on, and I think that's precisely back down to where? The 100 SMA, right? The 100 SMA has been acting as support here and here. 100 SMA is setting it high at this point, so that's 5% correction. But at this point, it's tough to say when that's going to happen, right? Let's go to quickly here on the weekly. So that's Spider weekly here. What we've been talking about is that, right, we are extended on these oscillators. We're making pretty much all-time highs on the oscillators, hitting 81 level on my RSI stochastic. We're getting into over bot sentiment. Again, can it like move sideways before going higher? Yes, but is it also possible that this thing comes back down to possibly my next level of support? You could say right here, because this was definitely a support. That's support, and that was support on stochastic. So is it possible stochastic comes back down to about 65 level on this weekly and then get back up? But even though stochastic could reset, price doesn't have to. Price could move sideways, you see. So as of today, what I don't know is, I don't know if we're going to start to move sideways and let some of those oscillators, weekly oscillators, reset before getting back up, or are we going to see correction through price? And when we do see correction through price, we got 20 MA support, we got the 50 MA support, we got the gap support, we got the rising channel support. You see, there's a lot of supports. So let's see how it plays out. Next week, we'll follow up on some of these levels. Let's see if we can grind higher or we're going to move sideways. Tough to say at this point, but volatility started to kick in here. It's keep in mind though, that volatility, and we saw similar volatility right here. You see that kind of a long lower wick, and then we start moving sideways, and then we did see some decline, and then the volatility showed up right here as well. You see that long wicks, long lower wick, long lower wick, and then we moved sideways and then came down. But again, are we going to move sideways and then comes down? Or are we going to move sideways and go up this time? I don't know. All I'm saying is this. I know they were extended on the weekly. I know that volatility is going to come. And this is something that I've been vocal about in the last couple of weeks, that I believe that volatility is going to come back up. But what I don't know is if the price is going to come down, pull back, or is going to move sideways and get up. I don't know. So we'll have to kind of revisit that and see how that plays out. Let's go to Q's. Q's finding support at 20 MA currently. It would be actually nice to kind of come back down and retest this prior resistance, kind of this channel breakout level, right? Which is coinciding with what? That 50 MA, right? I think that's kind of a good level to kind of come down, possibly getting back up here. I'm just checking to see if there's any kind of bearish divergence or anything like that on my chart. A little bit of daily bearish divergence. If you look at your stock and RSI, a little bit. Let's see here. right there, just a little bit bearish divergence, more so on the stochastic and RSI, just a minor term sentiment that could possibly get us to, you know, maybe come down to 50 or something like that. Let's see how that plays out next week. Russell 2000 holding up well here. Still down about 1% though, but came down quite a bit. Find support at where? That 20 MA. Actually, if you do a little bit of fib here, just like this is like a minor term fib. So you can see this is kind of a level that you want to see hold, and there's a lot of dip buyers came in, as you can see. Let's see how that holds up next week. Banks holding up like a champion. Pretty much nothing happened. A little bit of bull flag here, possibly continue higher. Holding up. Let me. I'm just gonna check my other screens. Still more room to move. On my daily chart, still more room to move there. Weekly still looks fine. I think banks looked a little bit stronger than Spider at this point. Let's go to Apple and see how they look. Apple. Yeah, a little bit of, let me put in, maybe you can do something like that. We're holding up that level, right? See if we can, there's a 20 right there, we got 50 right there. If we don't hold that level, I think next level support will be right there. We do have gap in that vicinity. So definitely that's a old resistance, potentially new support, possibly some kind of bull pennant before going higher, or is it a double top? Tough to say as of today. That's a neckline to watch, and we'll see how we progress next week. Tesla's still in this tough look for Tesla, right? I mean, that's we had that big consolidation, faked everybody out, got up, pulling back. Kind of a big double top, potentially ugly looking head and shoulder with the double top there. That's the neckline, right? Resistance, support, support, resistance. Pulling back. 50% is at 284. 61.8% is 260. Some of those levels to watch. We got some gaps here. If should the price start to come down to that level. We got lower highs. So we are technically in minor to intermediate term downtrend. Until this thing starts to cultivate higher lows, I want to continue to give benefit of doubt to what? To the sellers in the minor to intermediate term, right? Let's go to Netflix. Netflix, right here. There. Under support. Something like that. We got 100 SMA kind of in that vicinity. We kind of lost this level. I think that's a strong level. It's an important level in the minor term. You can see old resistance, support, and then we trying to get back up yesterday, and then we lost it. So we have, you can see where we got up today, found some sellers there, 10 and 20 and 50 crossing to the downside. Potentially getting back down to 177 if we lose the 100 SMA, currently finding support. Let's go to Facebook. Similar story. Let's see. I think that's the important level. We're holding that level currently. 100 SMA is in that vicinity. Also, that's a level of, that's a gap area. Oh, the gap is, I think gaps. Gap has been filled today. Gap kept filled today. A lot of times when gap gets filled, it becomes a support, and that's a level coinciding with that 100 SMA, as you can see. So that 50 though is acting as a resistance. It was support now, but 100 is acting as support. We got the prior resistance, kind of a sandwich there. Let's see how that plays out. If we lose that level, I think next level support would be there, and we got the gap right there as well. So some of those level to watch, but I'm getting too ahead of myself. But that's 100 SMA, we're finding some support there. So some of those are level as a new support. Let's continue on with the Amazon. Amazon is actually looking the best out of all of them. Apple, Tesla, Netflix, Facebook. Amazon's still holding up here, nowhere near 20. We have to continue to give benefit of the doubt to the buyers. Just looking at my other screen to see if there's any kind of divergence or anything. There's nothing like that. So I'll throw a little fib though, just in case some kind of shenanigan happens next week. So some of these levels to watch. This level obviously coinciding with the 20. The 50 is coinciding with the 50. And then that last level of fib coinciding with the gap area. The fib is perfectly giving us potential level support with 20, 50, and the gap area, right? So those are level to watch. Lastly, Google, I'll let you guys go. Google is breaching the... Google does have a bearish divergence in the minor term. Do you see that? Higher high, lower high, lower high. Lots of lower high on the Stochastic there. So that tells me that there's a kind of a minor term selling pressure going on Google, right? We do have a gap that starting to be breached, like there. We have support. That's what we're holding, that prior resistance, new support. You can see old resistance, new support, and that's the levels coinciding with that 50. So if we lose this level, that's gonna come possibly fill this gap right here, which is coinciding with what? That 100. So those are two levels to watch. And so, well, that's everything. Well, hope you guys have a wonderful weekend and good luck trading next week.